Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Go Show. $12 million right there. $12 million it took us to put that together. And don't ask where we got it. We have kind of a Tommy Wiseau thing going on where we really, just focus the results, not where the money is coming from or whatever powdery chemical may be still stuck to the bills. And with that, I am Professor Christopher McGlothlin, and on my best days, I am the creative pit boss of Ghost Show Press, a small but mighty independent voice in the world of creator rights and wild, improbably strange cinema. And you may know us from our previous books like Transgressive Horror or possibly Subversive Sci-Fi or possibly Fantastic Flops, which they make a lovely 3-volume set. And I'm not just doing that for just sheer capitalistic reasons. Our reason for coming together tonight here is we're here to launch volume number 4, the one that would go here. No, would go here. No. I'm doing this wrong. Would go here. Yes, hopefully. Yes, volume 4, which is cleverly called Transgressive Horror Resurrected. And yes, we're going back to the horror genre. And I keep saying we, so I with that, I should probably introduce my longtime friend and business partner, the godfather of the Banff family of podcasts, and the goat boss of feigning goat games, the one and only Mike Lafferty. Mike, how are you there in the lovely Lafferty Manse tonight?
I am doing just fine here at the Lafferty compound in Broomfield, Colorado. As you can see, it's I just clipped very slightly through it, so we got the reality matrix working as well as it should. Well, going to. I'm doing okay. It's always a pleasure to be here, Chris. Happy to talk about a new book from Ghost Show. And I think we should tell our viewers that this book, we've now activated Voltron mode. These 4 books will assemble together IKEA style to form one giant Ghost Show themed robot. So that's a special feature I'm letting you in on.
We should have Jacob here if we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm stealing his spotlight if I do that.
Yeah. It's Sunday night. I'm pretty sure Jacob's playing D&D somewhere. So.
Oh man, I'm still blown. Granted, the game industry is like kindergarten for me as far as being in the rearview mirror. But I still remember the shock of finding a designer that still had time to actually play. That was always such a nice, it's like you love your job well enough to bring it home.
I guess that's what I like about being a hobbyist is I still play. I don't hate it so much anymore. Plus,
Awesome.
I'm my own publisher, so I don't get to have nasty interactions with the publisher and get carry on all that stress forever. Right? The book sucks. It's because I made a mistake and I can do better.
Oh, well, yeah. So those of you who have come here tonight to hear about movies, yes. Well, just a word in case somebody is joining us for the first time. May have only heard dark and vague rumors about what we do at Ghost Show. And what we do is we take a topic and throw that out to the most talented, most unusual writers that I can. Everything from like certified film scholars to people whose name you would recognize, but maybe not necessarily with writing about film, to new writers who I think have something exciting and interesting to say. So we come from a diverse backgrounds and perspectives. Like I said, you have people that can give you serious film analysis to me who I I try not to miss a chance for a cheap laugh at the film's expense. I'm sort of, I mean, I'm Gen X. I'm caramelized in irony. I can't help but point out something strange even in a film that I love. But there will be 35 to 40 of us in a given book, all talking about a film. At least somewhat tangentially related to the topic, but I'm always amazed by what films my writers want to talk about and how they choose to talk about them. It's funny, it's insightful, it's something I'm very, 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 very proud to have my name and my brand associated with. And we may only make it happen because of wonderful people like you backing our Kickstarters and saying that, you appreciate what we do. You're looking for something different in cinema, or you're just looking for something entertaining to read about movies, or you're just you know that creators are treated well here. We don't cheat anybody out of credit. We don't cheat anybody out of money, free copies, or anything else, unlike some other companies I could name. But yeah, and again, we if you like weird independent voices in media, or just simply seeing creators not screwed over by deranged child editors or AI or any of that crap, we surely appreciate your support, even if it's something as simple as sharing the URL. And the one for this project, there you go. You can go there, right? Well, it's right there. We would appreciate you sharing that far and wide. It doesn't cost you anything, but it's priceless to us. And if you're sufficiently intrigued by what you think we're going to do with Transgressive Horror Resurrected, or you've been happy enough by what you've seen in the past, you can actually click on that and take the extra step and click a button to be notified as soon as the Kickstarter goes live. And in my sort of loosey-goosey approach to life, that's tentatively set to be like right before I feed the dogs tomorrow, right about 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So when it's time to feed my pooches tomorrow about 6ish, we'll be going live, and hopefully 30 days later we will come out with the money that we need to present you with what is already shaping up to be an outstanding book. We've brought back so many of your favorites from previous volumes. We have some exciting new people, and we're saying all new weird things about an all new batch of films.
In this day and age, it's hard sometimes to find interesting film criticism. There's a lot of, used to be a lot on the web. Used to be AV Club was good for this. And now, so many places are just cranking out listicles or, God forbid, AI content. What we give you here, Ghost Show Press, is a variety of authors with interesting and insightful, entertaining takes on, in this case, we're going back to the old horror well, because it was very popular the first time around. And if you choose to go to Kickstarter, and I got a tiny URL link because I can say it out loud on the show, tinyurl.com/ghostthr will take you, if you're listening to us on iTunes or wherever, you can just go there and you'll get to the Kickstarter. Now, right now, we are at the magic number 69 people. So think carefully, but if you're interested, you can go ahead and push us into 70. We won't mind too much. But
I was looking at that number earlier, and as much as that delights the 12-year-old boy in all of us, there you go. If you want to put us over to the top, make us 70, and knock off all the juvenile laughter here at Ghost Show headquarters, we sure would appreciate it. And really, anything you lovely people could do to boost those numbers would definitely be appreciated. We're excited about that. I think that's a record for like pre-launch signups. So, I could briefly entertain the notion this will fund quickly and painlessly, and and I won't have to be constantly checking my blood pressure for the next 30 days.
I know we have a list of manuscripts. Can we talk about some of the movies that we will be digging into?
Yes, as soon as we say thank you to Sean, who is a longtime booster of what we do, and we appreciate his support and his comments, and thank you. I'm probably far too biased, but yes, the books keep getting weirder, and we keep finding more and more amazing people to write for them. So yes, and I'm very excited about how Volume 4 is shaping up. All right, so you want to talk about Volume 4 and who's in it, eh?
Yeah, please. Let's hear about some of the movies and some of the writers.
Okay, now, well, this is a little gift to you folks that are tuning in tonight because everybody else is going to have to wait about 24 hours to see this before it goes live. But right now, we're bringing back the world's greatest vampire expert, as far as I'm concerned, Simon Bacon. And you're probably not surprised that yet again, Simon, who has magically found a way to work vampires into all 3 volumes, including subjecting himself to watching Morbius for fantastic flops and founding something. Well, he not surprisingly is back to do a vampire film, and he's going back to the original, the original Hammer, the one that launched their long running series, the film known as just Dracula in the UK, or the film known as Horror of Dracula here in the colonies. So, and it's a landmark film, and Simon does it justice. I was very, very, very happy with that. Our old friend novelist Alex Bledsoe, who's been on the show a time or 3, he's found a relatively obscure 1983 film called Eyes of Fire, and it's a historically set film which has sort of a quiet, disturbing horror to it. It's one that I will confess I did not know about until I read Alex's piece, and it immediately made me want to go out and watch it over and over and over again. And Alex, God bless him, has actually talked to some people that appear and contributed to the film. So he's got some fresh quotes from the people that actually worked on the film. So a lot of great info on it in there. Our old friend Bill Bodden, novelist Bill Bodden, is back talking about the film that launched the phenomena, the 2014 feature film version of What We Do in the Shadows.
Nice.
And every right-thinking person loves that show and the people on it. And here you go. We're going back to show you how all that got started. Novelist and video game legend Richard Dansky has found an undeservedly obscure UK film from 1988 called Paper House. And it's another offbeat child-based horror. And it's so intriguing because it just so flies in the face of everything else that was going on in 1988. But God bless Rich for finding this and bringing it to our attention. I think this is one you're going to want to go out and see after you read what Rich has to say about it. And making their debut with this, I was led to a talented newcomer, Gigi Descal, who has found one of the most unusual films we've ever talked about. A 2018 film called The Wolf House, which is based on a real life child abuse cult in Argentina told with puppets. And it's here you go. We feel our job is to show you kinds of films that you never ever would have encountered, and here you go. We're taking you right to the limit there. The man who always finds something fresh to say about films that have been done to death, our old friend Matthew Dawkins of They Came From role-playing fame, is back to talk about David Cronenberg's 1975 Shivers. And all I will say is we get good use of the trigger warnings out of that one. It's just, I'm at the point where I shrug when they put trigger warnings on Goodfellas in a version where they cut all the violence and bad language out anyway. But yeah. Matthew does a great job of explaining why Shivers deserves the trigger warning. My longtime friend Lynn Firestone Hill is back talking about what I would argue is possibly the greatest ever made, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, and its sequel, Dr. Phibes Returns. So we couldn't do a horror film without Vincent Price, and there she is. I think she's talking about one of his best there. The man, the legend, Kenneth Haidt. Yes, of Ken and Robin talk about stuff of unparalleled Lovecraft knowledge. One of the greatest writers and raconteurs of this or any other human age. Ken Haidt is back to talk about George A. Romero's groundbreaking, possibly vampire film, Martin. And it's a true landmark horror, and really such an honor and a pleasure to have Ken tackling it for us. The amazing Dr. Christian Hutchinson is back talking about a more recent film, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies from 2022. And you can't say that 3 times fast, but you will want to read what she wrote 3 times, because she is the perfect film to talk about a really genre-breaking film with respectful and well done lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender content to it. So well done piece of work there. Our old friend Winter J is back to talk about the 1986 Aliens. The wonderfully insightful Seth Johnson, who continually says, I'm not a horror guy, but came back. He originally asked if he could do the Little Shop of Horrors, which I thought, longtime Roger Corman, Dick Miller fan. But once he got started, he's talking about the whole phenomenon. He's doing the original, the Broadway musical, and the 86 version. So it's a wonderful look at the whole phenomena there. My indispensable man, Spike Jones, longtime editor, is doing the film that put Hammer Films on the map, The Curse of Frankenstein. And it's usually his thorough investigation of it all. David Larkins, the Pendragon man over at Chaosium, after writing one of my favorite pieces in Fantastic Flops, talking about Joe versus the Volcano there, he is hitting us with a triple threat, talking about the 3 films that Boris Karloff made at RKO with legendary producer Val Lewton. So he, in one amazing piece, is doing Isle of the Dead, The Body Snatcher, and Bedlam. Murray Leader, our long been with us from the beginning, is back to talk about the extremely disturbing woman abused by a ghost film from '82, The Entity, based on possibly a true story. And yeah, so we get into all the weirdness on that. The Godfather of Ghost Show Press, Jim Lauder, is back to talk about Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. It's going to be brilliant, and it's going to get weird. The genius behind Love to Hate, Mr. Colm Lundberg, is back to talk about the 1987 Adrian Lyne voodoo noir horror satanic film Angel Heart. Mr. Stephen Marsh, of longtime Pyramid fame in gaming circles, is off the beaten path again. The man who wrote an essay about Mystery Science Theater and then mocked his own essay as he went along, is back to talk about a documentary about Stanley Kubrick's The Shining called Room 237. And it's the very, very, very unique, rare, one of a kind, the genius behind the Gutter review, Chloe Maviel, is back to talk about Climax, Gaspar Noé's infamous 2018 film. And if you're wondering how it got there, I'll leave it to Chloe. Chloe makes a good case that if you like to do some MDMA and go to a club, this is a horror film to you. And as always, her words go off in very interesting directions from there. Then I'm there, and I'm doing the 1974 Hammer film. A lot of Hammer in this one. Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell, the sequel that doesn't want to be a sequel. And it's a film that was being made at about the same time that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Steely Dan, which you may have noticed I'm fond of, was recording their first album. And I am going to prove to you that they were basically making the same work of art on 2 different continents, completely unaware of each other, in 2 completely different media. Let's see here. Cynthia Celeste Miller, all the basic stuff she does over at Spectrum Games, is back with, maybe not a surprise to anybody, another slasher movie, but a comedy slasher movie, the 1981 film Student Bodies. For those of you that are not that wanted more Godzilla in this volume, well, our old friend Justin Moareb is back to talk about Shin Godzilla, and the incomparable Jason Walters is back to talk about Godzilla -1. We couldn't get away from that one. The legend, the past past president of the Horror Writers Association, Lisa Morton. Every time that I hear a story from Lisa, I find some other cool thing that she's done. She's going all the way back to the 1922 groundbreaking witchcraft film Haksan, which I am probably mispronouncing because I am not Scandinavian. Our new find, Nicholas Nicario, is back to talk about Todd Browning's incredibly disturbing Freaks. John Polajak is going to rock this one, talking about, you believe it or not, the 1971 Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I'm credit to John; he does a pretty good job of explaining about how, oh, you don't think this is a horror film? Ask a goose with gloomp and ask yourself if he ever really got out of that chocolate river.
That's
Go ahead, please.
No, I was just agreeing with him as it being a horror movie, because watching when I was like 9 or 10, I was like, Jesus Christ, these kids are dying. Kids are saying they're okay, but we don't ever see them again.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, like, oh, okay, he's going to base the whole essay off of the boat scene, but no, it's like that's, you know, he's already built like four or five pillars of evidence before he ever brings up the boat scene. I was so surprised, pleasantly surprised by that.
You know, it's the last 2-minute scene of that movie. If that was different tone on that, it could. Anyway, please continue.
Oh, let's see here. Mike, our old friend Abe Smith is making the case for why Akira is actually a horror film, and very interesting reading there. Filmmaker Tim Thompson is back, and we start. We're keeping it in the Cronenberg family, and he's taking a look at 2012's Antiviral. The one-of-a-kind, unique voice of Robert J. Toth is back to take a look at the 1979 comedy horror hit, Love at First Bite. The amazing award-winning filmmaker, writer, Dick Miller's official biographer, Mr. Caleb Vatsnall, is making a case for the 1984 VHS legend, The Jar. One of my all-time favorite authors. Such a blessing to be working with Mr. Mike Weatherford. He of Drive-In Kings of 1977 fame. He's doing us a double shot of films that most people can't separate in their minds anyway. The 1981 1-2 punch of The Howling and American Werewolf of London. The master behind Pugmire and so much more goodness, Eddie Webb, is back to talk about talking about being off the beaten path. He's bringing the one and only legendary Silver Mask Man, El Santo. Talk about Santo in La Venganza de la Momia. And yes, I made a D- in Spanish. It shows. The man from the Seventh Sea, John Wick, will be talking about the 78 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And our old friend Nicole Winchester will be talking about the 2001 Japanese film Cairo, or as it's usually translated, Pulse. Now,
John Wick is doing which movie for us?
The 78 Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Could you please convey to him my sincerest apologies? I didn't mean for that to happen to his dog.
Okay.
He's John Wick. That's a joke. Sorry. Please continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Yes. This is the week I went to see Riff Tracks live doing Point Break, and they at the scene where Patrick Swayze throws a pit bull at Keanu Reeves. They got off. That's John Wick, man. That's the last guy you want somebody to be throwing a dog at.
He's the ASPCA's official hitman. You don't want to mess with that.
Definitely not.
How long do you think it'll be before Riff Tracks does Borderlands? Like maybe next week. That would be good.
You know, they are very they do a great job of listening to fan suggestions. That's how they wind up doing stuff like Gymkata and Super Mario Brothers. If there's a groundswell for it, they'll make it happen.
All right, fair enough. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Please continue.
No, you're fine. All right. Now, I acknowledge that it's possible that you may have heard that fantastic lineup of writers and that unparalleled list of movies, and you may be saying to yourself, well, where's my favorite? Well, as we have done in the previous three, one of our rewards will allow you to back us at a higher level, make extra sure the book happens, and we will do the film of your choice. That's right. If we're missing your favorite, yeah, tell us what you want to see in here. In fact, some of my absolute favorites in these previous three have been ones that our backers have made happen. So yeah, you can, yeah, you absolutely can donate at that level, and we will do your favorite. You can ask any of the other lovely people that have funded these essays. We will absolutely do your favorite.
So how much would it cost me if I wanted you guys to take a look at Zombievers, for instance?
When it goes live, but let me tell you, for us to do Zombievers, it's a bargain price. I can promise you that in advance. Oh, now you may be saying to yourself, how can this possibly get any better? I mean, really, seriously, I'm telling you what to put in your book. Well, also available in our amazing pyramid of value rewards, for another reasonable contribution, which again will make sure the book happens. Once we're all done getting the book funded, you can join us here on the Ghost Show. And what will the topic be? You tell us. You can tell by the amount of movies I have behind me. I'm a man with a lot of free time. So yeah, whatever you would like to talk about, we'll be happy to let you come on here and talk to us, along with whatever Ghost Show writers you would like me to round up and have talked to you about it. So yeah, and it will go out live on the internet and will stay archived forever. So here you go.
You can ask Sean Vera. It's usually a very good time.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Andy Warhol said, most people only get 15 minutes of fame. You'll be on here for at least an hour. So you will be at least 4 times as famous as your average person.
It doesn't have to be horror. We can talk about whatever you want. The Australian breakdancing team.
Well, we probably have to slip some horror content in there. We can talk about the horrors of breakdancing.
Horrors of breakdancing. And did you see Electric 2? Breaking to Electric Boogaloo? It's not a horror movie, man. I don't know what it is.
Look at how did they never not do a breakdancing slasher movie?
There has to be one out there. I mean, maybe one in something, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I've seen like the 80s health club slasher movie where the guy's stabbing the people in their leg warmers and whatnot else. Like, yeah, that just seems like a lost opportunity.
I am now. Oh, okay, Slashdance. It's on IMDb, 1989. Oh, this is a Flashdance. Okay, this is a mock buster.
Okay. That loops around wonderfully because the hit song from the original Flashdance, Maniac, the guy who wrote and performed that, Michael Cimbello, always said that he'd originally made that for a slasher movie that didn't get made.
Oh, it all comes back together. All right.
Yeah, man, the snake eats its own tail. There you go.
I actually am not finding a breakdancing slasher movie using my Google skills. So
now I know what our next Kickstarter has to be.
Eventually we really need to segue into film production now that we're putting out 4 books criticizing them.
That'll be the stretch goal on volume 5.
At least some found footage, 5 minutes on YouTube where we wind up in the back rooms or something. The back rooms are hip.
Herschel Gordon Lewis made what is considered to be the first gore movie, Blood Feast, for, he claims, $20,000, and his main motivator for getting into films was he was tired of teaching schools. So maybe this is my path too.
I mean, if you've been wrangling high school kids for 20 years, I got to think 30. Managing a movie set might not be any worse at all. So.
I'm picturing an unofficial sequel to American Movie.
Yeah.
The film will never get made, but they'll do a documentary about my gradual mental breakdown.
It'd be like that documentary about Terry Gilliam's. Oh God, what was that?
Don Quixote.
Don Quixote. He didn't make it, but it made a documentary about making the movie. That got really good.
Yeah, it'll be part that and partly the making of Apocalypse Now. I'll be in the jungle somewhere covered in body paint.
I know you're making jokes, but the more you talk, the better it's sounding to me, Chris. So.
It's a better alternative than going to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that too. So yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, so that's a rundown of what's in the book, and we are planning on doing additional shows right about 8 o'clock Eastern time Sundays through the rest of the campaign, and we're hoping in the future to bring more of the creators behind them, and they can tell you a little more detail about what they're going to be working on, and answering your guys' questions, and talking about anything you want about why we do this, how we do this, how we plan on doing this, or anything at all, and we'll be happy to hear from you, lovely folks. And for those of you that already signed up to support us, thank you so much. Those of you that support us in the past, can't thank you enough. And if you're coming back to help us make number 4 happen, we're gonna deliver you another great book. That I can promise you that you will be so glad. You will be as glad about number 4 as you were the previous 3. And if you haven't previously backed us, welcome. And the thing I can promise you is you will have great opportunities to catch up on these 3 previous volumes, either in actual not hardcover formats or electronic formats, or both, or whatever you'll be able to pick right back up on our back catalog for the lowest possible prices we can offer, and you will guarantee. And again, you'll be helping make sure that volume 4 happens.
Yeah, it's a deep discount on the Kickstarter for the previous volumes. You're not going to get it cheaper anywhere else. So you run into somebody in a parking lot who says some of these books fell off the back of a truck and he can get you a deal. He's lying. Don't go near that truck. Come to our Kickstarter. We can help you out.
Yeah. I mean, if you've heard about the infamous windowless van driving around that has a crudely spray painted free Ghost Show books on it, just say no to that. Just say
those aren't good guys. And
no,
whatever sushi they have in the back, I don't recommend
it. Oh gosh, yes, and yeah. So again, we're going to launch about 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time tomorrow, and in the meantime, please keep spreading the URL, and we'll be back here about 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time next Sunday to talk a little more about how the first week went, and who knows? I mean, maybe you lovely people will have funded by then, and I can have the money in cash, and I'll throw it up in the air, and that'll be the show.
That's a short show. I mean, gravity being what
but
it is.
A joyous one.
All right, we'll see you next week, folks.
All righty. Well, Mike, before we leave, do you have anything going on with Feign and Goat or the Banff family of podcasts this week you want to talk about?
I really enjoyed talking about Ghost Show so much for the last week. I'd hate to end on a coda where I'm promoting some completely different project. So come back our Kickstarter at tinyurl.com/Ghost Show T as in Tom, H as in horror, R as in Romeo. Ghost Show THR, and hit it on Kickstarter and become the 71st person to follow us. We'll be launching tomorrow, so it's going to be a good time. Yes. And here every Sunday night, because we're going to be doing a lot more shows with more amusing people than just myself talking with Chris.
Oh, you're fine. This none of this happens without Mike. Seriously. I'm the big dumb face of Ghost Show, but I mean, I'm just the monkey. He's the organ grinder. we do not have a show without him.
But you're the pretty one, Chris. You get the people.
No, in no situation have I ever been the pretty one.
Without that moneymaker, what do we do?
I'm from the rural South. I just always let people assume my look was a pro wrestling gimmick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all good. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. We always do extensive shows throughout the campaign. Let you talk to the writers, dive into the movies they're talking about. You discover some gems, get some new insights on old favorites. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting watching. And like I was saying, there's kind of a dearth of quality film criticism online anymore, thanks to AI and stupid editors driving listicles and crap like that. We're, kind of a little bastion, if you will, where you can find that kind of content.
Yes, and since it has become an issue since we did Volume 3, we are 150% AI free. Every word in here was generated by humans. I can cut them, make them bleed. And our covers completely AI free. You know, as someone with extensive experience in being ripped off by human beings, I'm damn sure not going to let a machine do that to me. So yes, so everything you're getting is completely, incredibly, very human.
Well, on that happy note,
yes, we should let decent people get back to doing decent things while we go off to do our black literary arts.
I got someone Baphomet back here help me finish up a short RPG PDF I'm doing. You're like, God damn it, Mike, no one even the Seventh Circle of Hell is doing 2 spaces after a period anymore. What's wrong with you guys in Gen X? It's sorry, Baffy. Don't call me Baffy.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Mike. Everybody else who watched us live, anybody that's catching this down the road, and thanks to everybody that has supported us in the past or the future, spreading the URL, pledging. Thank you all so much. It doesn't happen without you, and we appreciate that so much. And look forward to the launch tomorrow and to catching up with you people again 1 week from today. But until then, this has been the Ghost Show.